There's a quick question we have. Can you elaborate? Why does God veils and reveals Himself? Can you please elaborate? Why does God veils and reveals Himself? The last class context. We all understand God having three basic activities: creation, maintenance, and destruction. Right? So, this is a very popular idea. But then there are two more activities were also ascribed to God. One is covering, another one is uncovering. He is the one who veils. Our inability to see the truth is because it is covered. Now we ask the question, who has put the covering there? Who is responsible for that for that covering? We cannot say, I did the covering. You can't put the responsibility on the jiva, the individual. Nor can you say, he is not responsible. You see, it's a very peculiar condition this is. I'll explain that. You just have to wait. You see, I'll give an example first, and then we will develop from there, because it's a very a fine idea, not a complicated one. You just have to cooperate. That's all. You just have to follow the lead. We all understand that you take a twig, one samit, you take independently a twig which we use for the havans and all, or even any small stick you can take, individual stick. I ask you to break it. You break. Correct. Easy. Anyone can break it. Now I take about 15 twigs together or 10 twigs together and tie that together and say, now break. What happens? Now, follow this very carefully. Suddenly the 10 twigs together has gained one extra power, isn't it? Extra strength. Now from where that extra strength came? Did all the 10 twigs lend their power extra? Individually, when they are there, they are able to break it. Now suddenly you put them together, they are not able to break it. Why? Sir, now it has become stronger. You say, from where it got that strength? You see the forest. From a distance, when you look at a forest, it looks beautiful. You see an individual tree, where is the beauty? What is a forest? Forest is nothing but collection of trees. Correct. Now when you see that collection, suddenly there seems to be that extra beauty which is not there for that individual trees, isn't it? So remember these two examples. One, individual tree and forest. When you see that individual tree, there is some beauty. It's not that there is no beauty and all that. Right? Individual trees. But then when you see that collective trees, it looks arresting. No? That's why people go to hill station. They climb up and do what? See from there. Wow, beautiful it is to see. What are you seeing? Trees. Correct? From where that extra came? Who is responsible for that extra? Which we don't see in the individual. Therefore, we understand what? The total is not the sum of its parts. This is the basic understanding. The sum of its parts doesn't become the total. When you add the parts, suddenly you see something different. See, Brihaspati gives this logic, beautiful logic of his, very practical. They don't go into all the complicated things and all that. Very simple example only they give. Pan you take, no? Right? Beetle leaf, green. Then you apply that chunam, that white color. And then you add that beetle nut, which is dark brown. You put all these three together in your mouth and chew. You get what? Red color. From where the red came? It's not part of green. You can't say green, a part of the green, part of this, part of that. La. Suddenly you see something different, you see. That's what these people define as Vyashti and Samashti. One is microcosm, another one is macrocosm. Individual and total. So the moment you go to the totality, there is something extra. That's the only thing we need to realize first. In the world, okay, in the world we see that in all our experiences. And I can go on adding examples. Now I think 3 examples are more than enough. Now you people can keep on building your own examples. But the scriptures give these 3 examples. Right. One is a twig example. Again, second one they give is this tree and forest. Third one is color. One is to explain the strength, extra beauty, totally different color. Right. Now, you cannot put the responsibility for that extra, what that came out, what is existing there. Who is responsible for that? You cannot say individually. Right. So we see always there is something beyond. Keep this thought in the background, okay? One idea. Then there is another idea. Now we come to the individual. Now individual has to be there. Why this individual is taking birth? Why you are born? Why do you move from one environment to another environment to another environment? Why you move from one place to another place to another place to another place? Only to experience what you desire. Correct? You are coming and sitting here because you desire to learn Vedanta. Therefore, you are sitting here. Right? Now, another person goes and plays golf. Sunday morning is golf time for me, sir. Can you change your class timing? Yes. No, I cannot miss that golf. If you have it 11 o'clock, I can come. There's no problem, he says. I said, what about 4 o'clock? I said. Yes, golf, you go and play only at 6, no? I said 4 to 5:30 you attend the class. 5:30 you start. You'll reach the golf club in half an hour's time. 6 o'clock you are there in the golf club. Midnight 4 o'clock? He has a different desire, therefore he is going there. Correct? Now these people ask a fundamental question. The fundamental question is, for you to experience something and fully experience that, what is a necessary condition? You want to really enjoy an experience. When that is possible? When your mind will be fully on that. Correct. Your mind should be behind that. Correct. The point is, when will the mind will get totally engrossed in that? It's a desire. Just because you want something doesn't mean that way. No, there has to be one condition. Is it? I know it's impossible for you to guess it. Right? It's not possible. For you to experience something fully, your mind should be engrossed in that. When your mind will get engrossed into that experience is only when you believe that experience is real. Isn't it? If you are not believing in the reality of that, can you cherish that experience? And the fellow comes and says, I love you so much. You should believe in that. If you don't believe, that guy is, April 1 today. February 14, you go and say, I love you. April 1st, you go and say, I love you. What will be the reaction? First reaction will be what? Don't play pranks. We had the real trouble. My father has been a troublemaker all his life. Even when he passed away also, he made trouble to us only. He passed away on April 1st. Right. And we are calling, actually happened. We are calling our, a relative of us. I said, Dad, keep the phone down. They didn't turn up. And then another person called them. Next day, then a fellow came rushing to the house. He said, hey, I said, don't ask me, ask that fellow. He quite, happily this guy pushed off. April 1st. He is maintaining his accounts, very clear, I said. 31st March, he, closed. April 1st, pushed off. And putting us in trouble. I said, this man, my mother got really annoyed. All his life he has been, giving us trouble. Now he is also giving that. On April 1st, when someone comes and says, I love you, what is your first reaction? If you know, if you remember the date. No pranks. You don't get excited. You don't say, wow, and all that. You don't cry. You don't scream, Why? Because you have to believe in the reality of it. Arjuna is seeing that Vishwarupa and believing that Vishwarupa is real. Remember, for you and me, reading that Vishwarupa is what? It is, he is describing, he is able to describe what? What he is seeing in the visual. Correct? No description of audio. When Arjuna actually saw that Vishwarupa, he saw that as what? Audio visual. Any horror movie, mute it and watch. Visual is there, audio is not there. What happens? What nowadays these people call it as, BGM. BGM. In those days we used to call it as, background music. Today if you tell someone, background music, they say, no, background music. BGM. I said, no, background music. No, BGM. I didn't understand first. What is that BGM? BGM these guys talking about? Background music. Adana background music. I said, no. Listen to the BGM. See, if you don't get that audio, Arjuna is seeing the visuals with audio, and he believes it is real. Only then he can fully experience that. If that idea of that reality to the world was not given to you, you can never pursue your desires. You can never go and get that satisfaction. Now, from where you are getting the sense of reality to the world? Vedanta says, it is God who has created that in you. How? Just by the totality. That extra, something comes out. What is that extra that is coming out? That extra is that thing. Why? Taking that, this is called grace. You may wonder, grace, sir? We thought grace is to tell us it is illusion. No. Real grace of God is to give you that belief in the reality of the world. Why he has to give it? Because you have a desire. Since you have that desire, to fulfill your desire, he is creating the necessary conditions. He is working for you. And we all believe God is working against us. He is working for you to create that necessary condition for you to fulfill your demands, your desires. Because you want to experience it. You wanted to enjoy the world. You wanted that. When you want it, it has to be shown to you as though it is absolutely real. Therefore, what he is doing, he veils the whole thing. He is covering the screen so that you see the movie. How? By the light and the sound, audio visual. That's why all of us can agree to illusion in the classroom. Why? In the classroom, words are spoken. These words are coming only as a visuals. There's no audio here. Therefore, you are able to see the world muted. See your experiences muted. Therefore, you don't get involved in that. But remember, Arjuna's condition is not that. Arjuna has to see it audio visually. That is why when you read Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, you don't experience fear. Sometimes you wonder, Arjuna Bainangliya. I don't know, how do you translate that? Bainangliya, what do you say in English? Terila. I don't know. It's a slang. Who is frightened for everything. Such a person is it? Say, no. Arjuna is a mighty warrior. How can he have that fear? But then he is experiencing fear. From where? That's why I said, God doing one more thing, which is not visible to us, which we don't understand. The three we are able to connect. He is a creator, he is a maintainer, he is a destroyer. Those three we are able to recognize. Whereas he is doing the job. Why he is covering it up is more important. Then, since it is he who has put the covering, then removing is also can be done only by him. That's why we have that devotion. You cannot cling. Chandogya Upanishad says, Brahman chooses to whom it should reveal. Amazing statement. Brahman chooses. It's like, as though, we feel partial, How can he be so partial? How can Brahman be so partial like that? It's not that. It's because of your own. Once you have reached a point where you no longer demand, you are no longer having the desire to experience the world, automatically what you will do? Remove the veil. Why? It's no longer needed anymore. You're not interested in the movie. Then what do you do? When you don't want to watch the TV, what do you do? Switch off. When someone says, I'm watching TV, what's the meaning of that? You call somebody, you ask him, what are you doing watching TV? Means what? No power in the house. No battery backup. He just got the new TV set. He has not even connected. And he says, what are you doing? Watching TV. That's also watching TV, no? But imagine someone sits there and watches TV like that. What do you call him? Why are you laughing at him? Huh? I don't understand why you people laugh at him or her. Women's liberation, otherwise women will get. Why are you saying only him? When a person says, I'm watching TV, it means they're watching some program in that. When I no longer have the desire to watch the program, what happens? Switch off. Right. Same way, the moment the jiva were to drop his desires to experience the world, what God will do? Remove the veil of Maya. What is that with which he is going to cover? It is a Maya with which he covers. And then, the moment you drop your desires to experience the world, desires, your karma, whatever words you use, right? Sometimes you can even use the word karma, you can use the word vasanas, you can use your own terms. The moment the demand is no longer there from the jiva, what he does? He removes the covering. So who is putting it? Because a jiva can afford to do only one. That is, he can afford to bring in this demand to experience, desire. He can produce karma. He can create vasanas. He can create desires. That's about it. He cannot bring in that sense of reality to the world. From where that sense of reality comes in, why that sense of reality is there in that individual, is where we see it is not only in me, it is collectively for all of us. So suddenly, I support you, you support me. You will definitely support me if I say there is a laptop in front of me. Correct? All those people sitting in the class, also those who are watching from the Zoom, but those who are listening from the clubhouse, what about them? I am telling them there's a laptop in front of me. Because those who are in the Zoom can infer. Sir, if a person is sitting there and talking to us, there has to be a system. Should be happening from a laptop. Inference is possible. And for you people, what is it? It's not inferential, it is anubhava. It is direct experience for you. You are seeing it directly. Right? For those who are in clubhouse, what is it? How can they do anumana? That's called Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana. Correct. All three gets it. Now you are also understanding what I am saying, how you are able to understand because of pratyaksha. Those who are in Zoom were able to understand that statement. There is a laptop in front of me. Is because of inference, anumana. Those who are in clubhouse, they'll say what? Sir, for clubhouse you don't require a laptop. You need a mobile phone. Correct? Yes, clubhouse apps work in the mobile. So if I tell those people there is a mobile phone, they all say what? Yeah, correct, obviously. Why? This app can work only in a phone. Correct. But all of you should have that sense of reality to it. From where that comes? You have only desires. You don't know anything more than that. The individual knows only one thing. What, sir? I have this desire, I have that desire, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that. I don't want this, I want that. I don't want this, I want this. This and that will keep on changing. What I want will change, what I don't want will change. From person to person to person to person to person. Then all that is possible to be experienced, tasted, and fully experienced only when I give a sense of reality to it. When we know, on the other hand, the Shastras, they say, world is illusion. One hand, they say, world is illusion, mithya. On the other hand, we say, our experience says, world is real. It seems to be talking totally two different things. Exactly opposite. Then the question comes, how? From where? Did I give it? Because if the jiva were to say, yeah, it is jiva who gave that sense of reality to the world, then at will he should be able to pluck it out, no? If I am the one who has given it, at will I should be able to take it out. Only then I can say, I gave it. Isn't it? Therefore, you cannot say. That's where they gave the example of that twigs. No individual twig can say, I lent that strength to that bundle. None of them can claim individually. But then suddenly when they are together, there is this. That's what the world is. The world is gaining that strength From where? It's not for the individual. Then it has to come from somewhere. No individual twig can claim. No individual tree can claim. When no individual tree can claim that, then from where? Sir, collection will always have it, sir. There's no reasoning. You're only claiming. You're only declaring. You're only repeating it. That I myself don't know. That is why I'm asking you from where it came. Isn't it? Now I'm confused. Sir, to get individually I'm able to break. Together it's not able to break because it is having more strength. From where that strength comes? That's why we give different examples. Or wherever we go, we see in totality. So the Jagat, suddenly when you say, this macrocosm suddenly has some extra. From where that extra came? Because the Jiva is made up of what? Same 5 elements. Jagat is also made up of the same 5 elements. It's just a combination, permutation combination of the 5 elements. That's all it is. Now when we say only the same 5 elements, how is it that that 5 elements had got that extra power to delude me? How is it possible? Same thing, no? Mine and yours is the same elements. Why that is coming? From where that Jagat has gained, which is also made up of the same 5 elements. In fact, to go one step further, the mind which is made up of the Tanmatra elements, Atma Bodha, when we study, you will understand all this. Right? Tanmatra elements, which is subtle elements. The world is made up of the gross elements. Right? Now, how is it possible that the subtle elements getting tantalized by the gross? How can the gross element create an delusion to the subtle element? How is that possible? Subtle can do that. But we are saying exactly the opposite now. See, so that's why we give simple examples. Now many people, when they take the example, this is where people do that blunder. They take the example, start analyzing. Like when you give the example of the twig, suddenly they'll start giving, the pressure given by the hands, vis-a-vis the pressure, the acceleration, the gravitation, this one, that one, and all that they'll bring in. That's not described. Totally off tangent. It's not that they are not there. That's not the purview of the discussion here. Because here we are not talking about that. Here we are saying, how is it possible that the subtle is getting deluded by the gross? Same element. Suppose we say, sir, this is a subtle, different element. This is gross, different element. Therefore, no, that's also not the case. It's the same thing. How is it possible? Which means the gross gets something extra there, something more. Even though it is gross, there is something more to it. From where that more came, why that more is there, that's where this idea they bring in. Why that more is to be given there is because unless you are convinced in the reality of the gross, you can never go through your desired experiences completely. You can never cherish it. I should believe in the reality of the world. Only then I will feel satisfied. Otherwise, it will be like, what is that movie? Matrix, huh? One. A fellow will have that meat. One fellow will be eating. I know it's not real, but then very juicy. I know it is not there. I know it is all computer program. But then it's juicy. Now, from where he gets, unless he gets that sense, what is going to be the case? Can you experience that? But you wanted to experience it. Suppose if you say, I'm not interested in experiencing it, then what happens? The veil gets removed. He no longer wants to see like this. The moment it happens, what? Suddenly that fellow, Anderson, becomes transformed into Neo. Matrix. Isn't it? Narendra becomes Vivekananda. How? What is that? The son of a carpenter becomes God. How? What is the difference? He has dropped that desire to experience the world. So long as you are having that desire to experience the world, your mind should be totally convinced. That's the precarious condition of a sadhak. He is neither a samsari nor a siddha. Samsari is one who has completely convinced in the reality of the world. Siddha is one who is completely convinced in the unreality of the world. Now, sadhak is standing in between. One part of him says it's not real. That is why when you read the 11th chapter, you don't get that fear. When you read that, you will not get that fear. Whereas Arjuna says he is scared. Now when you read that, what do you think of Arjuna? See your mighty form with many mouths and eyes, many arms, thighs and feet, many stomachs, many terrible tusks, so Mahabaho, the worlds are terrified, so am I. And he says, everybody is terrified also. The fact is nobody seeing. But he says the world is terrified. It is a typical, condition of a person who is scared. They don't know what they are speaking. They are terrified. I am also terrified. And you read that, you say, what? What is actually terrified? Many mouths, many stomachs, many tusks, many things. Obviously, many mouths means many eyes will be there. One mouth means a problem. Many mouths means no problems. And every mouth will have one intestine, one stomach. Imagine all the mouths going to same stomach. How big the stomach has to be. Big deal. What is there to get fear? You cannot. I have not seen anyone who has ever studied the 11th chapter feeling scared. Therefore, are you going to be coming to a conclusion that you are having greater courage and valor than Arjuna? He is scared. You are not scared. Who are you then? in comparison to Arjuna? Superior, no? Or you? We don't understand. Why is the case? Because for you it's not a reality. This is the example. Why you are not experiencing it is because it's not a reality to you. It is just a fictional idea for you. Otherwise, people will not do Parayana of 11th chapter. I have seen a lot of people doing Parayana. Every day Parayana of 11th chapter. Vishwarya Darshana Yoga. Some of them say, I wish I also get the chance to see that. If you read it, Arjuna himself is going to say later, please take it back. Now you read that every day. Parayanam also you do every day. And then you say what? I want to see that. This is called the definition of delusion. Because you don't understand what you are asking. You don't understand what you are saying. Why you are able to do all those things is because you are not seeing this as reality. Whereas for Arjuna, it is a reality. Who gave that sense of reality to him? I am giving you that Divya Chakshu, he said. Not Jnana Chakshu. Krishna did not give him Jnana Chakshu. He gave him what? Divya Chakshu. What is Divya Chakshu? Like 3D movie you go, no? They give a glass. 3D glass. Divya Chakshu. Watch that movie. Take it out and see. Same Jurassic Park. Remove that and watch. Have you tried? So after paying 500 rupees for ticket, why take chances like that? It's not a reality to you. Why? Because you are not wearing the 3D glass. Now Krishna told him, I am giving you Divya Chakshu. Enna Divya Chakshu? Na? He covered the reality. He covered the reality. He is not showing the reality. He covers the reality with his eyes. The same thing is what God is doing to all of us. Why He is doing it is not because He wanted it. Because you wanted to experience the world. If you wanted to experience the world, it is possible only when you believe totally. Not an iota of doubt should be there in your mind when you are experiencing it. Could this be real? Just try that. When you are in the peak of any experience, you must get that thought at that time. Right? If you don't get it, nothing can be done. But then, once in a while, is this all real? Arjuna is seeing like this. Why? Because you wanted to see. When you wanted to see, God is coming to help you. He says, I am here to fulfill your desires. I will help you. What is the help He is rendering? Covering the truth. And then the moment you say, I am no longer interested in experiencing the world, He removes the covering. Two of the most beneficial thing. And He creates, He maintains it, and He destroys it to recreate. He does all that He is doing. Why? Only to fulfill our demands. God looks very different. 24.
नभस्पृशं दीप्तमनेकवर्णम् व्यात्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रम् दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यथितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णो नभस्पृशं दीप्तमनेकवर्णम् व्यात्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रम् दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यथितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णो.
Seeing you touching the sky, shining in many colors, with many mouths open, with large shining eyes, my mind is terrified, and I find no courage or peace, O Vishnu. The mouth is open. Why is mouth is open? Huh? Why? Not Arjuna's mouth. He is astonished. Arjuna's mouth. He is describing the cosmic form. Vishnu's mouth is open. Krishna's mouth is open. That Vishwarupa's mouth is open. You know, next time, you should observe carefully. When you are eating the food, right? When you are taking a nostril, as the hand comes closer to the mouth opens automatically. You know that? Push it inside. As the hand moves out, the mouth closes automatic. Automated. Mouths open. Why, you will see next verse. Remember that, okay? Seeing you touching the sky, huge form. Touching the sky, sky, clouds, or above clouds. So huge. Yes. My mind is terrified. Now, why his mind is terrified? Remember, Arjuna is experiencing that fear now because he starts seeing God in the third dimension. We have seen three things: creator, maintainer, and destroyer. When Arjuna is seeing the form of Vishnu or the cosmic form as the creator in the beginning, 16, you are so pleased, you are so happy. As a maintainer, he was much more pleased. The moment he starts seeing God as the destroyer, suddenly there is this fear. Now we ask the question from where that fear comes, and in the last class also I think we did some brief analysis about what is the fear and what is the cause and all that. Now why Arjuna is experiencing it here? You can't say Arjuna is a selfish person. Arjuna is not a selfish person. One of his name is Anaga, sinless. There's no trace of selfishness in Arjuna. So it is not that place. Then what is it causing him? Is because of two mistakes he is making. One, he is seeing that Vishwarupa apart from him. Right? He is seeing that apart. He is not taking him as part of it. See, he is not part of it. He is not becoming one with that Vishwarupa. He says, I am separately standing as Arjuna, seeing that Vishwarupa. So he is creating a distance, a duality. One. Second thing is, anytime you see something which is destructive, triggers in you something. You say many people are scared to see a dead body. Karl Young had this issue. He cannot see dead bodies. Dead body if he sees, he gets palpitations. Father of psychology. Pitamaha is Sigmund Freud, his student. And then, of course, he branched out and he created his own. That's a different story. But then, one problem he had. Once he even booked a ticket to go to Egypt to see the mummy. He even boarded the flight. He got off. The thought of seeing it, he couldn't take. Why? None of us are comfortable seeing, a dead body. Why? The moment you see a dead body, it reminds you of what? Your death. One day I will be lying that. That thought creates a problem to you. Now Arjuna is seeing what? Not one dead body. He is seeing the pralaya there. The entire universe is getting collapsed. In a movie you can watch. Why you are able to see that movie and enjoy? 2012, no? That movie. Whole world is collapsed. Such a big hit movie. Everybody is going there and watching. Few beautiful movies. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Why you are able to see that? It's because you know it's not real. Imagine if it is real, will you be standing there and watching? What a beauty. Tsunami is coming. Wow, what a beauty. Unless you are an off case. Isn't it? Why? You are able to see it. Now Arjuna is seeing that. That's why he says, I have no courage. Courage to do what? I am losing my courage to continue to look. That's what the courage loss means. The loss of courage means I am not able to. And the problem for Arjuna is what? I am so scared, so I don't want to see you. I turn this side. He's everywhere. In all quarters. He says, no. Everywhere you are. Now, when he is everywhere, wherever I look, you are there. Now, I am so scared that I am not even able to close my eyes. You know that? They did one psychological study with people. When suddenly someone takes a gun and points towards you, where will you focus? That's why many times people were not able to register who shoots. Why? Because so many of them. Why nobody is able to decisively say he or she? This person, sir, not able to say that. Why? Because the moment you see the gun, your eyes gets fixated to the gun, which is scary to you. You're scared of the gun. Right? Not the person. Suppose if you don't know what is gun, let's say, when somebody takes that and points towards you, what will be your reaction? You won't even pay any attention to that. You start looking at that person. Now suddenly here, you see this, you fix. Now he says, I'm getting scared because of that fear. I'm looking at it, but at the same time experience the contrary also. What is it? I'm losing my courage to look at you. Now, I continue to look at you, but I'm losing my courage to continue to look at you. I don't know what to do now. Because the problem is what? See, that Vishwarya had the pleasant side to it. Also, it had a frightening side. There is a pleasant aspect to that Vishwarya and the frightening aspect to the Vishwarya. Arjuna's mind got fixated to what? This. Between the two also, Krishna is projecting more of the destructive side of that Vishwarupa supersedes than this. So the creative side or the maintenance side of God is underplayed. This is projected more. So when this gets projected more, and already he has a weakness, also this, and he is seeing this apart from him, mix all that together. And audio-visual. Only then you can understand why he says, I am terrified. Otherwise, you cannot understand why he says, I am terrified. He says, fear is only this. He says, because he took the whole thing from his personal angle. I. That thought of I. As long as you are carrying that I am separate from that, personalizing things, you cannot escape from fear. And adding to that, the intensity of that experience also. It's overwhelmingly, it is. So therefore, he is going through this experience. 25.
दंष्ट्राकरालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास दंष्ट्राकरालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास.
Seeing your mouths with terrible tusks blazing like fires of time, I know not the four quarters and find no peace. I am not able to fix the disha. Have mercy, O Lord of gods, abode of the universe. Beautiful word that is. Jagannivasa. You can take it either way. The Jagannivasa. The one in whom the Jagat is existing, and the one who is existing in the Jagat. The other way also. You are here in the world right now, in front of me. As Krishna, you are moving around. Right? Now we are not having that experience. No? Krishna is not there for us. But for him it is there. He is a moving reality for him. So he says, the Vishwarupa is shown to Arjuna in the Kurukshetra field. Weird, thing. Same way, the entire Kurukshetra is in Krishna. Krishna, who is in the Kurukshetra, showed that Vishwarupa, Jagannivasa. The Kurukshetra, which is happening inside Krishna, Jagannivasa. Either way you can take. Depends on your mood. See your mouths with terrible tusks and blazing like fires of time. I know not the four quarters. When you get scared, you have one option of running away, no? Now this fellow says, in which direction to run, I don't know. Because I lost sense of, direction now. Because you get the sense of direction from how a priest comes to the house, first thing asks, east. That's a time that, the fellow of the house, east, he'll ask his wife. Anything she says, that's east, she'll believe. We have also like that. You understand, okay, the sunrise means this is east. Then behind that is west. To the left is this, to the right is this, to this is this. All that we understand. All that we understand with reference to one sunrise. Now he has already told 1,000 suns are rising by simultaneously. How will you get the direction? Correct only, no? You need to connect it. Only then you understand what he's saying. Otherwise, you don't understand. What he means by, I know not the quarters. Why suddenly he's talking about Disha? It's because he is a warrior. Right? Whenever you find something frightening, what is the option you have? One, fight it. Or move away. Now, his problem is, in which direction to move? I lost my sense of direction. So horrified. Lost it completely. Have mercy. Mark this. Okay? Make a note. Suddenly he says, have mercy, O Lord of gods. What are you? You are the Lord of Devesha, the Lord of all gods. You're superior to all the gods. He better say that. If he is not saying that, no, I think Shiva, I should consult. He is standing there. Obviously, you will say what? You are the best. Now, same way. Lord of gods, have mercy in me. Mark, this is the seed of devotion. He is asking for that. Prasida. Have mercy. The devotion which is the effect of the fear that he experienced. That is how devotion will start. Remember. Devotion's beginning point is that, always. You are scared. The fear. Now what is that fear? What is the fear that he is going to be experiencing? Remember, that fear here, the effect when we say, how that whole thing works is, when your ahankar, your ego, not in the sense of arrogance we use the term here, okay? That sense of individuality, that sense of I am, sense of mine, I and mine, me and mine, ahankara and mamakara. As long as you have those two things, you will always be encountering the situations which you don't like. You will always meet with failures. When that ego meets with failures, is a time where it realizes its helplessness. Your mind has to experience that helplessness of itself, incapacitation of itself. As long as the mind is not experiencing the incapacitation, the smallness, the insignificance of itself. But the tragedy is that ego will never accept that I am small. Ego will never accept I am small. Essentially, that ego will feel always what? I am capable, I am big. The success. Any time you feel that success, your ego starts boosting, isn't it? Have you ever seen anyone saying, you go on time for a meeting? He says, it's because traffic, I came on time. If you go on time for a meeting, that's because of you planned very well. You drove very well. You are a disciplined person. You are late to a meeting. Then what? Traffic, sir. I don't know. Suddenly these people put up, last week it was open. Suddenly I'm coming this week, it's, blocked. I don't know where to go. And the fellow behind me is honking, and then I had to go around and no parking anywhere. By the time I searched for a place to park and come, I got delayed. So the reason for my delay is not because of me, it is because of BBMP. Not me. Okay? Because we have two people always there to be blamed. Government and God. Any problem you face in life, you can put the blame on government, you can put the blame on God. Why? Both of them will not come to and argue against. How dare you speak? No, government comes, no. Isn't it? And God also is not going to. He will also say, yeah, correct. Yes. Ego can never accept failure. And Arjuna is Vijaya, is another name. Arjuna is always comes as victorious. One warrior never failed in his entire career. Imagine a batsman, entire career, never got out. How will that be? Imagine a bowler. All the balls he had bowled, he has taking wickets. How he will be? That's Arjuna. Suddenly he says, I have no courage. I want to run and hide. I don't even know where to run and hide. To speak such a language from the mouth of a person like Arjuna. You can imagine what would be the case. He loses that completely. That is the time ego realizes its insignificance and helplessness. That is the seed of devotion. That's not devotion. Right? That smallness and the helplessness of Arjuna is realized by Arjuna now when the fear got triggered in him. Now you got to understand, Arjuna had fought one-on-one with Lord Shiva. Single combat. He had called Lord Shiva and had a one-on-one fight with Lord Shiva. And the match was a tiebreaker. Not that he lost. What is that fellow? You have to imagine Arjuna. In comparison, there is no one in the battlefield comparable to Arjuna. He is separate. Don't say Karna. Nowhere near Arjuna. Because thrice, when there is a direct encounter, when there is an interaction, and there is a meeting point for these fellows, Karna lost in all 3 times. In the Mahabharata battle, you will find that Karna lost to Bhima, Karna lost to Yudhishthira, Karna lost to all those fellows. Not a single scene you will find where Arjuna lost the battle. Unbelievable. But still we keep saying that because of our, we don't go to the original Vyasa Bharata. We go by the, local versions, vernacular languages, it is rewritten. When somebody rewrites it, they will rewrite it according to that conditions, you see. That's about it. Now, do we take Vyasa Bharata as the source? It's never failed. He says, I'm scared. I find no peace. Have mercy. This is the seed of devotion. Devotion has not yet sprouted. Remember, this is not devotion. This is the seed of it. Now, this is the classic, literature where they show the subtle points in the beginning itself. We'll see you next class.